Alright. So, this is interesting. So my coworker, he, let me know about, this fan fiction. So today I'm going to read this. The internet is truly an amazing place sometimes, and this was apparently written in the 90s, so this was before the internet really shut off, so it's not as if this was the time when the crazies really started coming out in terms of, say, Tumblr or what have you. Actually, let me see. Before... maybe I can put on some classical music or something. Just realized I don't have any music, and I probably should. Sorry, let me just get rid of this ad. Hold on. When did Dragon Ball Z even ever become... when did it become popular, too? To have this happen in the 90s... Anyway, Anne sighed as she sat in her room, staring at her wall. She just finished writing in her diary, and had nothing to do. Life was boring in the secret annex, but it was better than the alternative. It was alright talking to Peter and Margaret, but they were both such quiet people, unlike the always active Anne. All of a sudden, a flash of light appeared in the room. Anne jumped back, stifling a scream. Before she could run out of the closed door, she noticed that the person who appeared in the flash was not a Nazi officer, but someone who she had never seen before. His clothes were very strange, and his hair was in a spiky style that was totally new to her. She stood against the wall, wary of the stranger, but he walked towards her and smiled, extending a hand. "My name is Goku," the mysterious stranger said. Anne nervously put her hand in his. He bent down and kissed it softly, then let go. This is escalating quickly. What about Chi-Chi? Something happened? I mean, even she had died. Dragon Balls. Is that how he got there? Anne blushed, feeling something she had never felt before go off inside of her. Something also just occurred to me. How old is she here? Isn't she a teenager in the book? "My name is Anne," she replied quietly. I'm sorry for what just happened," Goku told her. "But I was caught in a time portal and deposited here." Time portal? What do you mean time portal? This is an entirely different universe. Okay. "My power cells will recharge soon, but until then I'm stuck here." Power cell? What is this? Anne had no idea what the handsome visitor was talking about, but she played along. "Well, sir," she said, "you may stay in my room as long as you like," she just said to the random stranger when she's in World War II Germany. Anne blushed again as she said this, and giggled slightly. Goku looked around and then sat on the bed. "Thank you for the invitation. I'll be sure to repay you for it soon." Anne did not understand what he meant by that. However, when he spoke, she felt a warmth deep inside of her. Is this... I didn't read this before. This isn't some kind of /fic erotica, is it? Oh boy. What am I getting myself into? She sat by him on the bed, staring at the man's beautiful eyes. Finally, she could stand it no longer. Anne leaned over and kissed the stranger on the cheek, and then pulled back quickly, not sure of what she had done. I think that's kind of all what we're all feeling like here, aren't we? I'm sorry, she said, as she stumbled to find the right words. The visitor smirked. No, that's quite all right, he replied with a smile, putting one arm around her. You know, you're a very beautiful girl, but well... Anne looked at him troubled. What's the matter? She said with a sweet smile. The formatting of this is also... That doesn't need... You don't need to start a new line there. Goku looked nervous. I'm already married, he finally managed to choke out, and pulled away from him abruptly. No, she said loudly, almost in tears. I'm sorry, he replied. Anne was furious. Nothing ever goes right, she cried out. I have to go now. My power cells have reached... What is this about power cells? Is this... Does this have something to do with the time machine? I don't... Does that make any sense? Anne was in tears by now, staring at the wall so she wouldn't see Goku's face. He smiled a sad smile and disappeared in another flash, out of Anne's life forever. Anne never forgot him, though. Not until the end of time. She got attached very quickly. 1 month, well, it didn't feel like a month, to Anne Frank. A Jew in hiding from the Nazis, it seemed like a year. 1 month since the fateful encounter with this mysterious man from another world, who she only knew as Goku. The handsome stranger had stepped through time and into her life, then disappeared without a trace. Kind of thinking of that, what is it, the time traveler's wife now. Anne was almost sure that they'd never meet again, even though not one day passed without her dreaming of him. Little did she know, however, that their lives were tied by the unbreakable red string of fate. It was another boring day in the secret annex. Anne sat on the bed of her room, writing in her diary. It never occurred to her, however, that this entry would be her last. That isn't ominous. As she wrote in the quiet attic, there was a loud noise from downstairs. Her heart jumped with both fear and excitement. Was it them, the Nazis, or could it be him? She had no idea whether to run downstairs or to hide. That decision, however, was made for her. Her door flew open, and a tall soldier was visible in the doorway, glaring at her. The cries of her family members and friends were tuned out, as Anne only thought of one thing. She stood up and followed the soldier out of her room, down the stairs, and into the back of a truck. So this is it, she said quietly to herself. I'll never see him again. My one true love ever again. And all those years of hiding, they were for naught. Then Anne realized that she left her precious diary up in her room. She broke loose from the officer and made a dash back into the shop, where he removed a gun from his holster and fired a shot in her direction. Anne fell to the floor. Anne lay on the floor, feeling searing pain run through her leg, where the bullet had met its mark. The Gestapo officer menacingly moved towards her, grinning, when all of a sudden there was a bright flash of light. A blinding flash of light, causing the officer to shield his eyes. A huge cloud of smoke appeared next to Anne, blocking her from the soldier's vision. When the smoke cleared, it was in for quite a surprise. There was Goku, holding Anne in his arms, standing next to a huge metal capsule. Goku, cried Anne, you came back. For me. Goku smiled. Anything for you, my dear. Our love will never be lost, not until the end of time. The Gestapo officer turned tail and ran, but Goku was too quick for him. After laying Anne on the concrete, he dashed towards the Nazi and knocked him to the ground, unconscious with only one blow. Nazi scum, muttered Goku, as he spit on his enemy's limp body, then returned to Anne. You know, this wouldn't even be the first... Well, I don't know when that one movie where Trunks and Goten fight Hitler. I don't know when that is, when that was released, but this wouldn't be the first time Goku or the Dragon Ball Z universe interacts with Nazis. Here, I have something for you, Goku said as he removed a small bean from his pocket. What on earth is this? Asked Anne. Goku smiled, remembering, I guess, typo, how ignorant she was to what was everyday life to him. A senzu bean, he said. Just eat it and it will cure your leg. Anne followed his instructions and popped the bean into her mouth, as the wound on her calf magically healed. Now come on, commanded Goku. I'm not going to utter profanity. So we've got some Nazi butt to kick, sure, whatever. Christian Minecraft server or whatever. Anne jumped on the mysterious Saiyan's back as he launched off into the sky. After only a few moments, the two of them arrived in Berlin. Tanks were parading down the street as Adolf Hitler himself stood on the platform overlooking it all. Stay here, Goku said, dropping Anne in a shaded area under the tree. He then flew straight towards the parade of tanks, fists outstretched, screaming as loud as he could, which is what percent of Dragon Ball Z. The soldiers below scattered in terror. While the tanks tried to aim their cannons at him, he was too quick and nimble for them, however, and opened the hatch of a nearby panzer, then headed inside. After dispatching the soldiers in control of the war machine, he took the wheel. He fired round after round into the crowds of Nazi soldiers, occasionally firing at the other tanks. Wouldn't it be more efficient just for Goku to go all Super Saiyan Ki Blast at them, rather than using a tank? You could even use the tank as a bat. After only minutes, there was nothing but a cloud of dust and corpses. Goku emerged from the tank's hatch, smiling now that he had done his duty. When all of the dust had cleared, there were only 2 people remaining on the parade ground. Goku, the Saiyan hero, and Adolf Hitler, the most evil man ever to walk the earth. Anne watched from nearby fearfully as she saw the 2 men stare at each other for what seemed like hours. Her one true love and her ultimate oppressor had come down to this. So, Hitler said jovially, you took out all of my men, however you aren't going to defeat me. Why wouldn't he run away when being faced by a tank? Hitler then jumped down from his platform and down onto the street in front of Goku, pulling a chain gun from the ground nearby. Goku quickly jumped behind a ruined tank as Adolf opened fire. Bullets can't really do much of anything to Goku. Can't you just catch them in midair or something? Kinda makes me wonder how much this writer knows about Dragon Ball Z. The tank made decent cover, but it wasn't long until it would be torn apart by the hail of bullets. Goku had to act. He dashed out from the side of the tank and flew as fast as he could towards Hitler, who had no time to react. He grabbed the chain gun out of his enemy's hands and snapped it over his knee with ease. Hitler stumbled backwards, shocked at the turn of events. Goku smirked, then said, "It's come down to this. You and me, fighting like men. If you admit defeat now, I'll kill you rather painlessly." Is this... Okay, this right here. This is a line from Calvin and Hobbes. So the author, I guess, is just shamelessly ripping it off, I assume. There's a fantasy theme, or scenario rather, where Spaceman Spiff, I think it is talking to what turns out to be his teacher, who's trying to get him to answer a question. Goku had the definite advantage, or so it seemed. Hitler burst into a laugh as Goku looked on quizzically. The mustachioed man slowly rose into the air as his brown hair and pencil mustache turned a blonde color. Like I said, the internet is truly a magical place. This is amazing. And give me a minute. His pencil mustache turned a blonde color, and his brown eyes turned blue. Goku reeled in her horror. Hitler continued laughing, then finally said, "Goku, you came here expecting to find a madman, but instead you found a god." Hitler had become a Super Saiyan. This is written in the 90s, so decades plural? Well, a long time before Super Saiyan God became a thing, so just the fact that he says he came and found a god. Maybe Hitler's going to train with Lord Beerus. Anne looked on in awe, not sure what was going on. Don't we all not know what's going on? Hitler continued to speak. "Goku, can't you see? I've reached a power level 10 times anything you've ever achieved. Your fate is sealed, weakling." Even though the battle seemed unwinnable, Goku charged in, screaming at the top of his lungs. Every blow he struck was deflected off of Hitler's rock-hard body. Hitler waited for Goku to tire himself out, then raised his fist and punched Goku, and one punch was enough. Goku was knocked across the street into a large propaganda poster of Hitler, thudding to the cold, hard ground. Hitler laughed, thinking that victory was in his hands at last. Goku, however, was not ready to give up. Bruised and battered, he rose from the ground, limping in Hitler's direction. The Nazi leader laughed. "You still want to fight? Don't you know when to give up, boy? You can hardly walk, and you expect to beat me, conqueror of Europe?" Goku ignored Adolf's taunts as he continued to stumble his way forward. Finally, Goku stared Hitler into the eye, then screamed, "This is for love!" and flew up into the sky, his hair turning blonde, his eyes blue, and an aura of power radiating from him. Hitler looked on in horror at Goku. He had made the ultimate achievement. He had become a super ultra power Saiyan. What is this? When was this written? I mean, there's Super Saiyan. Is this written before Super Saiyan 2? Goku made a cup shape with his hands, aiming at Hitler as he belted out the words Kamehameha, as a beam of pure energy shot at his enemy, disintegrating the Nazi leader's body. Goku then collapsed to the ground in a heap, exhausted from the fight. 2 years later, well, that's a time skip, Anne and Goku had finally reached the date of their wedding. The music here is somewhat appropriate. After the battle, Anne and Goku destroyed the time machine and took a boat to Australia. Isn't Germany landlocked? I feel like they might be skipping over something. And why did bother destroying the time machine? And it was a time machine. Whatever. Why bother questioning any of this? They changed their names and lived new lives, ready to start over. The two young people looked into each other's eyes as they kissed, as the Reverend pronounced them man and wife. Finally, it seemed, Anne was at peace, and they would always be together until the end of time. And the end. So, there are a number of questions here. What? Okay, first off, what's the timeline here in terms of when this was written? Also, I mean, I guess Goku just forgot about Chi-Chi entirely, and for that matter, the rest of his family and friends. And so, is this supposed to be some kind of self-insert, or is it just some bizarre story with an excuse for Goku to fight Hitler? I'll admit, the concept of Hitler turning into a Super Saiyan, that is pretty amusing. But you may have noticed that there's an animation. So let me just pause the music here and we can watch this magic.
Anne sighed as she sat in her room, staring at her wall. She just finished writing in her diary and had nothing to do. Life was boring in the secret annex, but it was better than the alternative. It was all right talking to Peter and Margaret, but they were both such quiet people, unlike the always active Anne. All of a sudden, a flash of light appeared in the room. Anne jumped back, stifling a scream.
My name is Goku.
Just how quickly this escalates, it just...
My name is Anne.
Was it a
I'm
man
sorry
or a
for what
woman
just
who wrote
happened,
all this?
but I was caught in a time portal and deposited here. My power cells will recharge soon, but until then, I'm stuck here.
Well, sir, you may stay in my room as long as you'd like.
Thank you for the invitation. I'll be sure to repay you for it soon.
Goku. That... amazing. I just have to wonder if that was intentional on the writer's part. If the undertones... the added licking... the smile I have on my face right now. Goku, she's a teenager. Then again, was written by a Japanese man. Well, the Dragon Ball Z was written by a Japanese man, and what is the age of consent over there? 14, which I think might be the age thereabouts of Anne.
I'm sorry,
No, that's quite all right. You know, you're a very beautiful girl, but
What's the matter?
I'm already married.
Chemistry is
No!
just great, isn't it? Believe her.
I'm sorry.
Nothing ever goes right!
Hold on, I need to...
What's the matter?
What is it? Is it not...
I'm already married.
No!
The person who animated this. This is great. Anne Frank having a Justin Bieber poster on her wall.
I'm sorry.
Nothing ever goes right!
Do you think... Do you think Anne Frank... Do you think Anne Frank, if she was born in the modern era, she would be a believer? Maybe. Maybe. I remember when one of my friends, when we had to read Anne Frank's diary, and I think it was middle school, he basically complained about it and said if he had to go back in time and stop himself from reading a book, it would be Anne Frank's diary, and he talked about, basically how he didn't want to hear about a girl fantasizing about kissing boys or some such. So I wouldn't be, all things considered, I wouldn't be shocked if she would have been into boy toys, pop star, that sort of stuff.
I have to go now. My power cells have recharged.
What is power cells?
And now, Goku smiled a sad smile and disappeared in another flash, out of Anne's life forever. Anne never forgot him, though not until the end of time. 1 month. Well, it didn't feel like a month. To Anne Frank, a Jew hiding from the Nazis, it seemed like a year. 1 month since the fateful encounter with the mysterious man from another world, who she only knew as Goku. The handsome stranger had stepped through time and into her life, then disappeared without a trace, and was almost sure that they'd never meet again, even though not one day passed without her dreaming of him. Little did she know, however, that their lives were tied by an unbreakable red string of fate.
We're only 2 minutes into this insanity. That explosion effect.
You must live on! Break free from this war!
Anne! I will not allow you to leave the house with that outfit on, young lady!
Anne! Be free!
Anne! Survive the Holocaust so we can go back to Hot Topic together again!
Hot Topic. You know, the fact that the father saying he won't allow her out of the house dressed like that, it reminds me of my mother for probably different reasons, but it's fitting because I sometimes call my mother the fashion Gestapo. I remember during the last financial dinner I went to, she gave me an attitude because she didn't like what I was wearing. And then I told her to just pick it out for me. You see, that's the trick with her. You just need to lean into, what she wants. Okay, yeah, whatever you want, and just make it annoying for her. Yeah, whatever you want. You tell me what you want me to do. You want to pick out my clothes? Okay, you don't like my clothes, you pick it out for me. In her defense, I also nearly once walked out of the house with a checkered shirt and plaid shorts.
I'm going to need you to come with me immediately!
So, this is it. I'll never see him, my one true love, ever again. And all of those years of hiding, they were for naught. I left my diary upstairs. I gotta get out of here. I can break these cuffs.
You can't break those cuffs! Scheiße!
You have Saiyan blood? I have to say, I feel like
What the fuck?
the Dragon Ball Z style as well, if not a bit rough.
Goku! You came back for me.
Anything for you, my dear. Our love will never be lost.
Goku's
Not
voice
until
sounds
the end of time.
kind of familiar.
Jag vet inte.
Well, Goku will eat just about
Nazi
anything.
scum! Here, I have something for you.
What on earth is
Of course,
this?
it's in the
A sensu bean.
blood-covered hand.
Just eat it and it'll cure your leg.
Wow, that's amazing!
Now come on! We've got some Nazi ass to kick.
Live your life
Stay here.
Let me turn the volume down. It's a bit loud.
It's time to rock and roll. Oh, shit!
Goku's Nazi youth? Is
What song Goku cooking, you might ask?
singing?
A fresh sweet load of pain!
The animator is just how ridiculous this was.
Oh, shit!
I just feel like I'm just a bystander.
I can't think of anything witty right now, but you're getting fucked up!
So, you took out all of my men. However, you aren't going to defeat me! Put
Why do you use a?
It's
why would
come
he even
down to
use a gun
this.
if he could go
You
Super Saiyan?
and me. Fighting like men. If you
Wait a
admit
minute.
defeat now, I'll kill you rather painlessly.
What was that on his? Is that symbol on his shirt? Is that from Super? When was this made? I need to take another look.
Goku! You came here expecting to find a madman, but
Amazing.
instead, you
Super Saint
found a god!
Anne looked on in awe, not sure what was going on. At first, it seemed like her lover would win the battle, but now
I could watch a
she
series
was
like
not
this,
so
maybe.
sure. Goku now seems scared of his.
Yeah, that's the symbol from Super. When was this? This had to be made at least relatively recently, right?
Opponent, and it was for good reason.
Goku, can't you see?
symbol on him.
I've reached a power level 10 times anything you've ever achieved! Your fate is sealed, weakling!
Wait, what did that? What did that say?
Sealed, weakling!
Ich liebe Essel und Titten. Okay, so I love. Okay, I think I speak a little German. I think Titten probably means what you think it means. I'm not entirely sure what Essel means, so yeah. Hold on. Oh, well, I don't think it's quite Essel. Let's just say I think it's another body.
You still want to fight? You don't know when to give up, boy! You can hardly walk, and you expect to beat me, conqueror of Europe!
This definitely was after Super.
This is for love!
What is that?
No, Faye. You can't be a super ultra power Saiyan, can you?
That's right, friend.
May.
May!
That's gonna be the next question. Is there going to be anything special in Dragon? Okay, oh no.
Two years later, Anne and Goku had finally reached the date of their wedding. After the battle, Anne and Goku destroyed the time machine and took a boat to Australia. They changed their names and lived new lives, ready to start over. The two young people looked into each other's eyes as they kissed
what
as
is
the...
that? Whippy nay nay. Zero. Of course, it's some kind of edgelord, teenage edgelord name, something choony like that.
Reverend pronounced them man and wife.
Wait, aren't you Jewish? Ah, forget it.
Finally, it seemed Anne was at peace and they would always be together until the end
Zero and Whippy.
of time. The narrator killed himself 3 days later after he read this. He's dead now. He's gone. He turned into ghost. He flew away. It's done. It's over. It's done.
Leave me! Leave me! Leave me!
Narrator killed himself.
Leave me! Leave me!
That's...
Leave me!
Yeah, he couldn't live with the shame.
Morning blue, the day anew, when time stood still for two. I'll come through, and I will ensue any day to be with you. When you're between my arms and you give me that look, it makes me feel so calm. My love for you swells up, ready to blow, just like
So this is an
spirit
original
bomb. Back.
Okay, any men watching this, if you ever get a girlfriend, serenade her with this, please. Yeah. This is a song made especially for the Anne Frank X Goku fanfiction animation. I'm singing it specially for you.
When I first met you, you were
If you don't get slapped, that's how you know you found a keeper.
just a little fun. Girl, I'll take you for a ride on this keen tone. Come on, get on to Anne Frank. Oh, Anne Frank, the war has seen my...
No, the positioning of the hand, really.
Anne Frank, you're the answer to things that cry for peace. Yeah, girl, you're my light in the darkness. No nightmares for me. I like to go.
Ich bin bis über... Oren, I'm pretty sure is ear. Okay, hold on. Translate time. I am... Bis über beide Oren. Verliebt. Okay. Alright, that isn't completely nonsense. Unser Kampf.
Sweet dreams to you, by Anne Frank. You'll forever and always be my boo. Anne Frank, I want you to be mine until the end of time. Ich liebe dich. Love you, Anne Frank.
That was fantastic. No. No, please, no. Oh boy. When was this? When was this made? Is there a date on this? (2018). Truly amazing. The internet truly is a magical place. You know, sometimes, though, we're so busy asking if we can, we don't think to ask if we should. Alright, well, that's that. But, I think we can go on. Let's see. I mentioned Archive of Our Owns. Luigi Mangione. Let's see if we can find some more, sure, terms of service, blah, blah, blah. Well, hang on, I'm being obsessive about this. Agreement, blah, blah, blah. I guess I can just click through this. Maybe I should just go back later and read it. I don't know. Did I... Okay, there's one in particular I saw earlier. Let's go back to the classical music. Okay, yeah, not that one. Let's see. There's one where this symbol right here was some kind of... I don't know what... is this... Will this just take me to the beginning? I'm pretty sure it was on the first page. Maybe it's different now for some reason. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Other relationships. Yeah, this Eldritch Abomination. Is there another one? Maybe there's another one. I need to find something good that's hopefully not to pass beyond the pale. References to Mangione's manifesto. Okay, is it... How do I do this? There's... Let's work. Okay, continue. My camera's in the way of the upper part of the screen. You are my favorite medicine. Okay, it was a rainy day, not unlike many that you'd seen this fall, but little did you know that this would be the last day you'd see him. Your claim to his heart was denied, of course, on account of his pre-existing revolutionary condition. When he left, you wished you'd taken out an insurance policy for your heart that was shattered into a million pieces. What do you think the odds are that Luigi Epstein's himself, so to speak? Because it's not entirely out of the question that he winds up getting released or something. Because people seem to be, at best, indifferent to the assassination, and at worst, if you will, actively cheering it on. Let's see. Yeah, so what do you, I mean, I don't, they're not just gonna, if he gets released, or it looks like he's going to get released, they're not just going to sit on their hands and do nothing, or maybe they will. I mean, Trump is busy uprooting much of the system, so maybe they have bigger fish to fry right now. Shout out to Kale, who birthed this idea and wrote most of this lettering masterpiece. I sincerely apologize for the ending. Oh no. Oh no. What? You met Luigi years ago, and you both studied at the University of Pennsylvania. Though you were in the same computer science program, you hadn't really talked much at all. You've seen him a few times in class, and sometimes acknowledged each other if you met on campus, but never had a proper conversation. You know of him, but you didn't know him, and you really, really wanted to. The fleeting eye contact, the brief smile that flashed on his face when he saw you as he biked around campus, caused a storm of butterflies to erupt in your stomach. These little interactions, while only lasting what seemed to be the briefest of moments, were enough to lift your spirits for the whole day. The thought of telling him your true feelings had crossed your mind, your burning desire to unite your futures. You didn't even know him. You could never bring yourself to pull the trigger. You know, some people are really good at parody and writing. During graduation, when his name was called up on stage, it was the last time you'd ever heard of him for a while. He was forever out of network. While you moved on, life wasn't the same without the spark Luigi brought you. The use of that word spark here kind of reminds me of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, where Luigi gains electrical powers. You tried to forget him, but thoughts of him constantly played to your head, like a deductible you were paying on the time you spent together. It was as if he had entire control of your health and body. Let me turn down the music a little bit. I realize things are a bit scuffed as I don't know if I want to say as the kids say. It's not like I'm ancient or anything like that. I've never really been huge into slang, I guess. You remembered one night when you were playing Super Smash Bros., of course, with your friends and chose the random character select option. In a cruel twist of fate, the game selected Luigi for you. How do you think Nintendo is going to respond to all this? I mean, Luigi isn't the most common of names. Oh no, oops, sorry, no, Mario never had an A brother, you're misremembering. Luigi, no, there is no Luigi. Just scrub him up from all the games, and could you imagine Mario and Luigi without Luigi? What, that's an interesting concept. I wonder what exactly that would look like in terms of what you could do to screw up the mechanics. I don't know, maybe it would be Mario and a Toad. It felt stupid. You knew that this was nothing more than a cartoon that barely even resembled the man who got away. While the luscious eyebrows and massive nose united the two, the similarities stopped there. Luigi, you knew, always kept his hair short and tidy, and wouldn't be caught dead wearing overalls. The sense of fashion was one of the things you admired most about him. You could barely contain your sadness when the character shouted, "Let's go." Had Luigi said that to you, you would have followed him anywhere. That night gave you a brief spurt of joy in the otherwise sea of mundanity. Is that actually a word? That is your life. Moments like these were hard to come by. Another such one happened at the hotel in New York City, where you had worked since graduation. You were filing away papers when your attention was instantly caught by the song playing on the overhead speakers, "Murder on the Dance Floor" by Sophie Ellis-Bextor. It sparked a core memory the first time you met Luigi, of course it did. You weren't much for parties, but your best friend Mario was so insistent that he was hard to say no to. He said it'd be nice to get out there, have a few drinks, and meet some people. He had his own plans to bring someone home, but you went there with eyes only for him. You both agreed to meet at his house and found yourself waiting at his door with spam calling him. Typical Mario, always late, you thought. Before you have the chance to call again, the door swings open and Mario screams, "It's me, Mario!" I'm many people do you think actually named Mario do this sort of thing? And embraces you in a bear hug. Mario is a big, hairy guy, a bit disorganized, but has a heart of gold. You met him in one of your classes, actually your first ever at that university. You scurried into class and sat down beside him, not making eye contact with anyone, wanting to avoid conversation as much as you could. Immediately, he struck up a conversation with you, and despite your initial reservations, you figured that it might not be that bad to have a friend like him. Excuse me. Mario brings you into his place, and into his disorganized room, with clothes spread all over the floor, a mini fridge that could barely close, and a dirty microwave sitting on top of it. You sit down on his bed, beside another massive pile of clothes, and pull out your phone. Mario swats it out of your hands. Nuh-uh, he says teasingly. You gotta get in the right mindset before we go. You crack a small smile as he hands your phone back. I'm gonna break out Yoshi tonight. The ladies are gonna love him. Mario smirks at you. You ever seen that green text? That green text where some guy dresses up as a plague doctor and smacks fries out of a fat kid's hand, or is it fries? Or I don't remember. You are fat. You don't need this. And then I think he does something similar to the nearby queen bee from his school, and kicks over his, kicks over the tip jar. Then he comes back later, out of costume, and there's a no sign with covering a plague doctor. How much of green text do you think are real? There are some where you kind of hope aren't there. Yoshi is what he christened his car when he bought it. He told you the make, model, and specifications many times, but you were never much of a car person and almost immediately forgot all these details. You do know it is lime green and goes super loud though, which according to Mario makes him a total chick magnet. And we can definitely find someone for you to connect with. Mario waggles his Mario's eyebrows waggle as he says this, if you catch my drift. Oh boy, is this going to be... Is this a slash fic? We'll see. You do get what Mario means, but laugh it off. It would be a stupid idea unless he was there. You've never spoken to Luigi yet, but had locked eyes with him a few times in class. You tried your best to avoid eye contact with anyone, always looking down at your phone so as to not invite the attention of strangers. But you feel as if your eyes' impulsion away from others can only be matched by their attachment to Luigi. Repulsion? What is this word? The first time you and Luigi's eyes had met each other, it was like your world was lit aflame. He was talking with his usual group of friends, but he had always been incredibly popular. But for a brief moment, he glanced away, looking at you, and smiled. His gaze was strong, like a bullet piercing through... This is a lost opportunity for referencing Bullet Bill. Oh. I get it. It took me a moment. Maybe not. There had been other moments of bliss since then, but each felt smaller, less significant than the first time. Mario waves his hand in front of your face. You still there? He yells, laughing. Your mind snaps back from that dreamlike reality, and you find yourself back in the messy room of your friend. Oh, sorry, you reply sheepishly. I was just thinking about something. Something or someone? Mario teases in a sing-song voice. You had told Mario about Luigi before. One time you brought him up as someone you wanted to get to know better, but Mario knew exactly what you meant. He offered to introduce you, but something told you that Luigi was no fan of middlemen. I'm guessing this is referencing the middlemen in insurance companies. Okay, no profanity. Just because the guy looked at you doesn't mean he wants to have sex with you. Who said anything about wanting sex? You didn't have to. Because I don't want to have sex with Luigi. You rarely raised your voice, but Mario is getting on your nerves. You are about to apologize for your outburst when the door abruptly opens. It was his roommate, Bo, a guy a couple years older than you, who Mario constantly complained to you about. A guy? Bo in Paper Mario, at least, is a female Boo. Everything okay in here? Bo asked, raising an eyebrow. Wait, is that supposed to be Bowser? There is a character named Bo. I guess Mario complaining constantly, that would make sense in terms of Bowser, but the name doesn't work really the best. Yes, we're fine, Mario apologizes quickly. Sorry for the noise, we'll keep it down. Bo leaves without saying anything more as Mario's glance returns to you. You can say whatever you want, but I know you want Luigi. You don't deny his claim this time. And that is... You don't deny his claim. Have I missed any of those puns? Or references or whatever? And that is that. Mario drives you to the party, though you don't talk much on the way. He plays his Get Hyped playlist, singing along to a bunch of songs you only hear when you're with him, to try to get in the zone. Mario parks the car and you both get out. You head towards the building as he lags behind. You go ahead, he says. I'll stay here with Yoshi and see if we can meet some people. I don't want to go alone, you protest, but realize that even the embarrassment of talking to a bunch of drunk strangers won't compare to that of being in the presence of Mario leaned up against his car, with his arms folded like a douchebag, desperately waiting for someone to notice Yoshi. How many college men are like this? And I use the term men somewhat loosely. Hesitantly, you walk into the party and are immediately greeted by the host, Emma. Is this a reference I'm not getting? You know her from one of your tutorials, but you have never really spoken that much to her. Hey, I'm so glad you made it, she says sweetly, embracing you. Her enthusiasm almost makes you collapse out of instinct and leave out of reason. What's that supposed to mean? But something draws you inside. You are surprised at yourself, but it feels like something stronger is keeping you inside instead of the urge to ditch. You grab a drink and go to stand in the corner. Feeling both sides of the wall against your back makes you feel safe. You set your gaze to the ground, able to see the feet of anyone approaching you. You almost finish your drink when a familiar force causes your eyes to venture into the unknown, dangerous yet exciting, and look upwards. When you do, you see those same eyes, those eyes that simultaneously feel like home and the vacation of a lifetime, that mysterious yet familiar feeling. It's just like that first time, except something is telling you that this night will be special. Your feet start moving on their own, away from the comfort of your corner and towards Luigi. They say that fear and excitement can be hard to discern from each other, but as your back leaves the walls, you know what you're feeling is clearly excitement of what might come. You aren't one for introducing yourself to people, at least not at first, as you prefer your own company and figure others would not. But tonight, maybe from the liquid courage you've been steadily consuming, you confidently make your way over to Luigi as you announce, "Hi, my name is..." What? Is that supposed to be your name here? I don't know. I'm not exactly one to read much fan fiction. But this, on the other hand, it's amusing enough that it can be fun. It feels like your entire life has been leading up to this. All your practice conversations with your mirror, your frustrating at times friendship with Mario, but apparently the coverage of your voice doesn't reach Luigi, who doesn't seem to notice you. You crumble your cup up your cup and try to whip it into the garbage can, but your target is not denied a second time. Luigi keels over in pain and lets out a pained yell. I'm so... what is this? Y slash I don't... I think they mixed up the order of the words. This is not how you envisioned your first proper meeting with Luigi going. That's okay. Maybe I should give him more of an accurate voice. That's okay, sorry. Oh, wait, okay, I get it. I get it. Luigi wheezes out between moods of pain. I think you just got my 9mm there. What did she just? She threw it. She threw her cup at him, right? This is what, a red Solo cup or something? Why is he wincing in pain? Fraught with horror and nerves of your most recent actions, your mouth blurts out, "I'm sure it's a lot bigger than 9mm. I don't have that good of an aim." Oh. At this point, the entire party, whose attention is caught by the outburst, is staring at you in shock, but Luigi is the only one who laughs. Still bent over, he replies, "Thanks for the vote of confidence." I'm not doing... I didn't do the voice. Whatever. Oh, yeah, I don't think it's that easy to disrupt a college party, especially considering that it's probably filled with drunk idiots and druggies. You try to change the subject to anything else, asking him if he's injured. He waves you off. Nothing that hasn't happened before. It makes sense to you, since he is known to be a rare 3-sport athlete. But you did throw that cup pretty hard. How hard could you possibly throw it? Are you some kind of Olympic athlete? Also, what are the 3 sports I'm guessing it's referencing? So let's see. Soccer, tennis, baseball. Are there any other? I mean, there's golf. There's a recent golf game. Then again, golf doesn't count as a sport. I think you should get checked out. Get it checked out. Honestly, I can help. You're hitting with a plastic cup. This gets a crowd of people laughing as you quickly correct yourself. I mean, I can bring you to the... Why are you going to the hospital for throwing a cup at him? No, the smile fades from Luigi's face for the first time as his lips curl into a scowl. I hate I hate hospitals. I'm trying to get a decent Luigi voice, he says through gritted teeth. I threw it really hard. I'm sure it must be hurting a lot. This is part of the reason why insurance is so expensive in America, isn't it? Going to hospitals for basically no reason. You try to reason with him. Reason being used loosely here. You've been maintaining eye contact throughout your entire conversation. The intensity of the situation caused you to not even notice that this is your longest moment of eye contact ever. Okay, he relents. I'll go just for you. You lead him out of the dorm toward the car, where you see Mario still standing against the door. His face looks blank until he sees you and Luigi walk toward him. Well, Luigi is more staggering. Your throw must have been uncannily powerful. No kidding. Did you shoot it out of some kind of railgun or something? How did you injure him this badly? When his look turns to one of surprise, before he has a chance to make a smart comment, you bark out to him. We need to go to the hospital now. Without saying a word, he jumps into the driver's seat as you and Luigi sit in the back and takes off before either of you have the chance to buckle. Luigi turns to you, his smile dazzling despite the debilitating pain he is in. I realized I didn't introduce myself. I know who you are, Luigi. You immediately regret how monotonously you said that, definitely sounding like a stalker. I mean, I've heard of you. I think most people have heard of Luigi in more than one sense. You see Mario winking at you through the rear view mirror, and Luigi definitely notices. You sink further down into your seat. Lots have, but not many people really know me, Luigi says with a tone filled with mirth. Let's start with where you grew up. Townsend, Maryland. No way, me too. As your conversation continues, the two of you find out you share many similarities. While you're relieved to arrive at the hospital, wanting to make sure he can get quick treatment for his condition, you're disappointed that the conversation can't continue. Mario parks the car and unlocks the door. I'll wait here and keep Yoshi company. Before Luigi can ask who Yoshi is, you rush him out of the car and into the hospital. As you sit in the crowded ER waiting room, you hear two nurses complaining to each other. She's not going to be able to survive much longer, but her health insurance company is giving us a headache. Who does she have? UHC. No surprises there. They would deny their own mothers health care for an extra buck. Luigi looks at you with an angry expression. His brown eyes seem to have a flame in them at the mention of UHC, like a forest of trees burning to ash. I don't normally tell people why I don't like hospitals, he says, but the truth is I don't hate hospitals. It's dealing with the health insurance companies I despise. It frustrates me more than anything that we pay absurd prices to protect our health, but don't actually get what's promised to us. Is this more Swedish than Luigi Italian? They'll find every excuse to delay, deny, depose, to cheat us out of the very healthcare that we hope that we'll never need, but spend so much money to make sure that if the day comes, it'll be there for us. It's interesting that Amazing Grace is playing in the background for this. Luigi Mangione? Do we have a Luigi Mangione here? The nurse asks. Oh, I skipped the whatever. Well, I should probably be off now, you awkwardly mention. He gets up, but before he leaves, you quickly say, Luigi... Okay. I'm sure it will get better. Was that where he... Is that where he got hit? Wait, did he go to the hospital? Did he somehow get shot? Is that what's happening here? Luigi just laughs and turns his back to you. Little did you know, those would be the last words you'd speak to him for years. You wait for a few hours before you get a text from Luigi, whose number you've recently acquired. Should be okay, but they want to do some more tests. You should go home. I'll be here for a while. Didn't you already go home? Is that not what just happened? As you reminisce on this moment, a man in a mask walks downstairs with a suitcase and up to the front desk where you're stationed. Checking out, sir? You ask him like the good little customer service employee you are. Yes, I had a blast, he replies. His voice is deep, somewhat familiar, and ignites a hidden thrill in your heart. How's your day been? I feel like I'm getting more Swedish than Italian. Same old. You shrug, knowing full well that the song currently playing in the background is the first time you've felt something in months. The masked man... Why is she responding so normally to a man in a mask? The masked man raises an eyebrow at you curiously. Well, I'm sure that's a good thing for an attractive person such as yourself. Feel your heart skip a beat, and thinking of asking him to lower his mask. You bite your lip to hold in a laugh while contemplating if you should shoot your shot. You essentially decide to bite the bullet. I would return the compliment if I could see your whole face. The man laughs in a rich, confident timbre that converts the little sparks into flames of desire. What? A rich, confident... That sentence doesn't seem to make sense. You hold your breath as he lifts up a hand, his left. You notice with nothing on the ring finger, and slowly lowers his mask. This time, you truly feel as though your heart stops beating, which worries you since you're not sure if your insurance covers that. The face revealed is one that you haven't seen in years, not in real life, but is permanently and constantly etched into your mind. The man seems to notice your look of surprise and smiles. It feels like this isn't our first time meeting, he remarks as he hands you his key card, and I hope this won't be our last. You want to speak up, but stay silent, failing to disclose that his sense was right. He makes his way to the hotel exit, not before looking back and sending a smile your way. Although the time past had made his face older, more mature, that one smile is exactly the same. He readjusts his mask, and just like that, he is gone again. You wish you could have gotten another glimpse of him, spoken another word to this man who you dreamed of for so long. The regret of saying nothing feels like a bullet right to the back. Your heart and your brain wanted to speak up, but your mouth denied their claim. You aren't sure if you'll ever see Luigi again with your eyes, though you know you'll see him every day in your mind. While some may deny that matters of the mind shouldn't warrant attention, nobody could deny what you're feeling. You pick up the card Luigi dropped off and glance at it. Room 286, it reads. He must have checked in when you weren't on shift. You stare at the card, wondering if you'd have gotten the chance to speak with him one more time if you were at the front desk when you checked in. Realizing how pathetic you're being, craving another minute of small talk with this man you barely know. No kidding. You put down the card. You feel greedy, wanting to take every last second you could have of him. Hold on to every last memory of him, but you know greed never ends well. Just think about that for a second. And his obsession with a man, this obsession with a man you'd never see again has to end. Let's go, you mutter to yourself as you continue filing away your papers. Me seeing Luigi was just a matter of chance. I'll be beyond surprised if I ever see him again. You immerse yourself in your duty, trying valiantly to keep thoughts of him separate from your job. After all, you have a life of your own to take care of, and money is of the utmost importance. Nostalgic Italian men aside, you have to ensure your own health is protected. Finally, after a few hours of working, quote-unquote, you head to go on your break. Hey, someone says, approaching the desk as you are about to leave. You recognize one of the hotel's cleaning staff standing in front of you. This was left in room 286. Could you contact the previous occupant and let them know? They hand you a journal well-worn and inconspicuous. Your pulse flutters when you recall who had been in that very room and who this journal most definitely belongs to. Luigi. It seems that even when he isn't there, he is always with you. Sure, you say, your bright smile as you take the journal. No one else is around to see you slip the journal beneath your uniform jacket as you make your way into the break room. Your heart and your mind are war with each other. You know this is wrong and an invasion of privacy, but you cannot help but justify it to yourself that this may truly be the last piece of Luigi you'll ever get to witness, get to know. You know there's something called Twitter and Facebook where you potentially look people up, or even there's a way to get in contact with him. Even if he will never acknowledge you in the way you've always acknowledged him, whatever is written within the journal will allow you to know a piece of him that no one else will. But this is just some kind of stalker situation, isn't it? So without further hesitation, you open it and begin reading. Several hours later, you find yourself struggling to collect your thoughts. There is some sort of mystery, some unknown event that you are aware you are lacking. What? The contents of the journal, it makes sense, yet you can make no sense of it. There's something missing, something that links to Luigi who wrote these words, Luigi you know, or do you, in real life. Why would you be writing about this? What did you do? It isn't until you finally finish your shift, leaving the hotel as you glance briefly at the TV screen behind the desk, that always displays the news, a meaningless, innocuous gesture, your eyes landing upon a headline. Suddenly, your whole world tilts on its axis. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson assassinated. You blink at the news. You always had your thoughts and reservations about power-hungry CEOs. You distinctly remember them denying your mother's health insurance claims from years ago. something your family is still financially recovering from. That, and the job market being so strained in these past few years, are the main reasons why you are working as a hotel receptionist, taking on any jobs you can get your hands on that don't involve danger to your being. Your health must be your number one
At
priority.
Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail.
Hold on.
The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small.
Okay. Sorry. Where was I? Your health must be your number one priority because everyone knows it isn't the health insurance companies. Your eyes flicker from the TV to the journal in your hands, then back, and back again. No, it can't be. Could it? Where would you go, knowing you only had a few weeks, a few days, maybe a few hours left of freedom? Where would you run to, knowing that nowhere is safe? Your brain had been ruminating in these thoughts as you desperately raced towards the last location you could possibly think of where it could be. Luigi didn't strike you as someone who cared so much about the past, always being straightforward and ambitious, at least demonstrated through his intellectual prowess and mannerisms in class. But after reading his innermost thoughts and feelings, knowing what you know, you think, perhaps, that there really is some nostalgia in him after all. I would visit the places that made my life meaningful one last time before I throw the rest away. Yeah, I think it's more Swedish than Italian. To you, perhaps, the journal being left behind wasn't just a coincidence after all these years. Perhaps it was fate. There's only one place that you can think of that means just as much to him as it does to you. The familiar scenery of UPenn campus spreads out before your eyes. You waste no time in sprinting to the building you know oh so well. A place that felt like a second home to you in your time here. The building is void of students, but somehow that makes it all the more inviting. You walk through the dark, empty halls, wondering if you'd been too late. Your heart rests violently inside your chest at the possibility that you will never get to see him again. Not because of some cruel twist of fate, but because of your circumstances. No matter what you do, you cannot fight back against the law. You will be taken as the consequences of his actions. I cannot defend him, no matter who it is. A life has been taken. You come upon the last friend and sit down heavily in one of the seats, heart sinking, and with a devastating cramp in your right calf. Despite knowing that it was nearly impossible, that surely has and he had better things to do on the run than come back to here of all places, part of you had dared to hope that he would. I never got the chance to tell you. Tears prickle at your eyes and you close them tightly to fight them back. How pathetic must you be to cry for someone who doesn't even know? This is where we first met, isn't it? I saw you in class from across the room. That's Luigi. Your head snaps up at the intrusion of a second voice. We're supposed to be alone in here. Why would there be another person sitting in the same spot you remember that very first day of class? Hood down, face unmasked, is Luigi Mangione. How? Is your first instinctual response. You pinch yourself tightly, thinking that this must be a dream, a figment of your imagination. Yet the pain lances through your arm sharply. This is real. It is, isn't it? This fan fiction. You read the journal, did you not? Comes the reply, quiet and soft. But with the silence permeating the entire building, his words reverberate clearly through the room. I knew you would. I knew you'd give in to your curiosity. Then the truth hits you. You wanted me to come here? You ask disbelievingly and heartbreakingly a little suspicious. Why? He doesn't turn his head to meet you, but you have a feeling he knows that your gaze is trained on him like a gun. Do you remember the night of the party? Yes. You bite your tongue to stop the rest of your answer from coming out. How could I not remember? You hit my 9mm pistol with your cup. There's a slight tinge of laughter to his words, as if trying to hold back a smile. I guess my aim's always been better. Hey, you defend yourself weakly, face flushing as he reiterates your conversation from that night. I was distracted. You see him shake his head, and silence befalls the room. You nervously wait in anticipation for him to continue, and it feels like a lifetime before he speaks again. You were so adamant on taking me to the hospital. You're almost cute in your franticness. I've never had someone care so much about a little injury. No kidding. It wasn't a little injury, you retort. Yes, it was. I don't even know if I know it. I'll call it an injury. Trying to ignore the way your stomach somersaults at him calling you cute. It looked painful. The smile vanishes instantly from his face, and his voice turns cold and cutthroat. It was nothing compared to the pain I felt recently. Your eyes fall down to the journal in your lap that you've clutched like a lifeline in your desperate pursuit across Pennsylvania. Remember many of the passages vividly detailing the pain and suffering Luigi had endured at the hands of his debilitating condition, and the injustice of the healthcare system for denying him. You feel like you understand now why he had acted that way at the night of the party. The things he said that you felt almost uncomfortable hearing because of the extreme distaste in his intonation, the fear in his expression as he ranted about the country's healthcare. You must have gone so quiet for so long because he sounds almost empty and confrontational when he asks, "Do you think what I did was wrong?" You take in a breath harshly. I think what you did what you thought was the right thing, and I believe what you said, even if it was a brutal method. It was honest. Luigi turns to you then, and you are startled by the intensity in his gaze. I do apologize for any strife or trauma caused you, but it had to be done. You shake your head, averting your eyes. I don't care about that, you say, carelessly surprised by the truth in that statement. I'm worried about what's going to happen to you. He laughs again, but this time it's devoid of humor. You know what's going to happen to me. I'm going to get caught eventually. Nowhere is safe for me. Not with my condition. The place where I was meant to be the safest, meant to be taken care of, meant to be protected. None of that happened. The system failed me. Just like they failed millions of Americans and will continue to fail us. As long as we live in this twisted society, I could not allow them to get away with it. Could you imagine just starting a trend where you go to work in a Luigi cap? I wouldn't be shocked if some of the older generation didn't even get it. But you had your whole life ahead of you, you whisper sorrowfully. You had such a good upbringing, a promising future. Why would you throw all that away? Some people say that the most dangerous men are those who have nothing to lose, but if I, someone who seemingly has everything they could want, is driven to do something like this, then maybe it'll change. People have killed for far less, but this isn't just about my life, it's about the many lives that were lost. Because of this unjust denial of their right to health care, denial of their right to live, what life is worth living, knowing what they've done? So, okay, as far as right to health care, I mean, it costs money for health care, and while I don't exactly defend the current system, I guess it's a bit of a tangent, I mean, if you were to force some people to provide you health care, that's essentially slavery. I mean, and there are limited resources, so we can only do so much. I mean, it costs money to train doctors and pay them and to make for example, anesthesia and painkillers and whatnot. And aside from that, I don't know if all of the rights in the Bill of Rights in America, which is the only country that matters, if they're all negative rights, as in they're rights that the government can't do something, so they can't suppress your speech. They can't deny you the right to have a gun, for example, which I guess that one tends to be interpreted rather liberally nowadays. But that's kind of beside the point. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if all of them are. But those are the a lot of, at least a lot of the rights, I think, in the Bill of Rights are negative rights. And of course, I'm sure other countries would have something smart to say about American healthcare, but why don't? Okay, so why Canada? What? Yeah, no, Canada. Look at where Canada is, where their first. Where some of their suggestions when somebody calls in for healthcare is to kill themselves. Oh, you're an Olympic athlete and you want a stair lift? Have you considered killing yourself? Yeah. America may have its problems, but at least we don't have the government handling our healthcare and telling us, oh, if you're sick, you can't. We don't want to give you your money back. Kill yourself. Not to mention, it seems like the free ride might very well be over. Oh, okay, you don't want to pay for your fair share of NATO. Okay, well, we're going to spend our money elsewhere. Or, I mean, that might not actually be the best example. A lot of U.S. let's just say, I don't know if I should say charity. A lot of government money is being cut from other countries. How much of this stuff is money laundering? How much of this stuff is just politicians taking taxpayer money to give to other companies so they can countries so they can give kickbacks back to the politicians? I mean, for example, drug companies have got to be paying. So, for example, they'll probably lobby these politicians to provide these drugs, whatever they may be, to other countries. So they pay, so that then these congressmen make laws or what have you. They make policies that take taxpayer money and they use it to buy these drugs, because the drugs have to be paid for, right? And they buy these drugs and send them over to other countries, and then those companies that make these drugs get a ton more money, and then they kick back some of that money as donations to the politicians in some form or another, whether it's direct donations to whatever charity, which probably has some kind of multi-million-dollar salary for CEOs, or they pay a bunch of money to people. And I mean, I can try and be as neutral as possible. I mean, surely Hunter Biden, he's painted, he's sold artwork. He's got to be involved in some kind of money laundering in regards to that. So he makes art, he sells them for way more than what they're worth, and people who owe him favors or whatever buy it for a premium price, and then the people buying this stuff can potentially donate to a museum and use it as a tax write-off. Anyway, back to the story. You shut your eyes at the imagery. You cannot even fathom taking another person's life, no matter the intentions, even if it was for the greater good. But perhaps that is what defines Luigi Mangione distinctly from the rest of humanity, from you. Is that Luigi speaking there? Evidently I'm the first to face it with such brutal honesty. It just seems so cruel, you say softly, tinged with sadness, that I finally found you after all these years, just for you to be taken away forever, for me to never see you again. You know, there are women, visit criminals in prison and write to them and whatnot. Luigi doesn't respond for a while. You think back on every instance you met his gaze, or saw his smile, or heard his voice when you were in this very room all those years ago. I am sorry, not for my actions, not ever, but to come back into your life knowing that we could never have a happy ending. That is the only thing I think I'll regret. I don't, you reply quietly. I thought I wouldn't get to see you again after the hotel, but after reading your journal and coming here, that means something to you, doesn't it? You recall his earlier words, alluding to him intentionally luring you specifically to this very building. You left it there on purpose. You wanted me to read it. You left an impression on me that night. I don't know why, but maybe it was the way you cared about me in a way no one else had. I know you had good intentions, but the truth is, I could see you still held a naive belief in our country's healthcare. The U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. UHC has only grown its profits while the people's health they pledged to save has plummeted instead. We may have been raised not differently, but I knew you wouldn't understand the way I felt. Yeah, the U.S., I mean, say what you will about is it RFK, I think? I mean, hopefully something good comes from him doing stuff with health organizations. I mean, I can hope. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the current administration. He pauses briefly, allowing the revelation to ruminate in your brain, before continuing. Well, I went off radar for several months prior to tonight. One, because of the pain, but also to plan and accept what I'd been doing, what I have done. A few days ago, I met with your friend, Mario, randomly in a McDonald's. He mentioned that you were overworking yourself to provide for your mother. You had been denied health insurance, and he told me that you'd been working at the hotel. Excuse me. So I booked a room, but you weren't there at check-in. Your colleague mentioned that you would be here in the morning for when I checked out, and I left the journal for you. Truth be told, I wasn't sure if you were going to come, but I wanted to see if you would understand, now that you know what it feels like. You left the events of the past few hours fully settle into your memories, because that is all he will ever be to you from now on, just a memory. And all of a sudden you feel a bold streak of determination invigorate you. If you cannot keep him, then you will be sure that your last memory of him will be unforgettable. Just for tonight, you demand, standing up abruptly and walking over to where he has reclined back in his seat with his own eyes shut. They flare open at your approach, deep stormy pools of dark brown flickering briefly up your figure, still dressed in your hotel staff uniform, but now unimpeded by a giant desk between you two. The seats are rather small and definitely not meant to fit 2 adult people, but you ignore the uncomfortableness as you determinedly sit down right in Luigi's lap. Uh-oh. Surprise gathers on his face, but his hands fly up anyway around your waist to secure you in position. Just for tonight, you repeat, breathless at the proximity, at finally being this close to him, after so much time fantasizing about what could have happened that night. Ugh. If your aim had not been atrocious. If I will never see you again, I don't want to regret not telling you how I felt about you since I first saw you in this room. I don't want to regret not knowing what it feels like to be with you. And where is this going? Maybe fanfiction was a mistake. Luigi smirks up at you, sending frisons of excitement down your spine. Are you sure? He rasped huskily, trailing his fingertips up your back. Will you be able to forgive me if this will be the only time that anyone else after will not be the same? You slide your hands. Okay. I distinctly remember you saying that you were in possession of a 9mm pistol, and now I hope you weren't talking about the one in your pants. Okay, oh. This line. I think I'm going to start skipping some parts. Oh. Okay. Adjust my claims, Luigi Mangione. I can't. You want oh, his coverage. I don't think you can see me face palming. I can't see my model right now. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Yep. Skipping. Absolutely nothing happened. They had a tea party. Let's see. Frankly, those parasites simply had it coming. But tonight, you've insured yours and Luigi's. Uh-huh. Well, at least the ending was short. Uh-huh. Well. Oh, wait, sorry. What? Why? Okay, there we go. Well, that was an experience. Uh-huh. Well, I don't know what to say outside of the internet is a magical place. I think I'm gonna go now. I'm at something of a loss for words. Okay. Have a nice rest of the day.